G'day. So I'm trying this thing out. And rather than consuming a long form piece of content, I'm going to produce one instead. So that's what we're going to do right now. I've got an hour drive ahead of me. Let's get amongst it. I'm going to talk about the men's mental health epidemic and what isn't working and how we can actually create a form of a permanent solution to the challenge of men's mental health. So first off, I'll share a bit about myself. I've struggled a fair bit of my life with mental health challenges. First of all, I was born in South Africa. Doesn't sound like it very much. Got a bit of an accent, but not too much. We moved over, I was like 7 years old. My parents split. That hit me hard. I had to learn to be independent. Had to learn to fend for myself in a way, and lost a lot of trust with parents, with people around me. That snowballed into life and relationships going forward. I was very angry. I would lose my cool a lot as a kid. I think it was more at myself with things that I couldn't get right. I loved playing with Lego. I was very interested in ancient Egyptian studies, wanted to be an archaeologist, and my mind worked very different to most people. No. I was interested in archaeology and then going out fishing, doing all this crazy stuff. I enjoyed a lot of my alone time. I didn't like hanging out with the cool kids or the weirdos. And I didn't have a lot of people that I wanted to be around a lot of the time. A lot of isolation, a lot of internal stress, a lot of internal noise, which then came into how I grew up struggling. Let's cut to the chase, mate. Okay? I grew up struggling to connect with others, I think is the best way to put it, because I had to operate in such a isolated, independent fashion growing up. And it got to the point from about 16 years old where it all started, where I isolated myself a lot, started drinking, started smoking cigarettes as well as weed, and it snowballed into working my ass off for using alcohol and drugs to escape from my mind, because I didn't understand what was going on up there. I'm a very extreme person majority of the time. I like going all out. What that had me doing, those behaviors then transmuted into suicidal tendencies. I actually got addicted to self-harm for a few months, where I would just slice myself up every night, watch the blood go down the drain, drinking, not sleeping well, hating myself, hating who I was around, hating my life. And it got to a point where I thought, what's the point of all of this self-harm, all of this drinking, all of this internal abuse, basically, constantly? What's the point of going through it if it's not working for me? Do something that's going to create a permanent change in an extreme fashion. The pattern that I had learnt and been conditioned to follow for years. So I decided to attempt suicide, man. That was what I decided was going to be my permanent fix. That happened multiple times over a few years, in and out of toxic relationships due to what was going on internally for me, right? And obviously they had their part, they had their play, their way that they responded and their own challenges. But I can't speak on their behalf. That's where I've ended up regarding mental health on the bad side. Overcoming that, I've still extreme behaviors, still addictive personality. We've got a mental health crisis, right, in the Western world. My reality, your reality as well, is we have a mental health crisis. Yes, for all genders, fill in the blanks, but we're talking about men here, okay? Men's mental health is on a decline. We've known this for years and years and years. Is isolation, dude. Being isolated in a world that is so connected, but not creating connection. We are so connected, dude. We've got social media. I can call anybody who has a device in the world at any time. Half a century ago, that would be a dream. That dream is now a reality.
which is causing a lot of isolation. We don't need to connect with other people, not physically. It's not a necessity. It's not a need, because I can call you, we can DM. I don't even need your number. I don't even need to remember your number to contact you. It's insane, right? So this isolation from others that's one consequence. I don't know if you remember, something that used to be just a very basic thing. And I think what's happening is this isolation, removing ourselves away from human connection, is having us do weird things. Like, for myself, I'm talking to a screen. Remove the screen, remove the camera out of this. Half a century ago, I would have been labeled absolutely mad. You're talking to yourself? You're crazy. What are you doing? But no, that's normal. It's called being a creator. You got to be a creator and get in touch with yourself. And, you know, I would be labeled mad. I would go to a madhouse because I'm talking to myself while driving. What a dangerous activity. You've got to focus on driving. Are you silly, mate? That's just the truth, dude. That's the truth. What I've learned, isolation can be a blessing and a curse. It's a very double-edged sword. I don't know too much about this topic, but the topics of the monks, of how they do life, and many religions, I'm assuming, will go and spend a lot of time alone. Whether it's part of an initiatory process, whether it is part of a challenge that they've got to go through, whether it's part of an enjoyment exercise, whether it's part of higher calling, where said being goes to the mountains, to the caves, to a journey of some sort, and they do that alone. Nowadays, we're more and more alone physically, but we're not doing it for an initiatory experience, or because we feel like it, or because God, Jesus, Allah told us to. No. It's because being physically isolated is easier than connecting with a human in person. And what is easy, what fills that gap of isolation, physical isolation, is a screen. Is the need for connection, so I'm going to scroll on TikTok. Is the need for connection, so I'm going to like somebody else's post. Is the need for connection, so I'll join a random free Discord server and feel connected. Is getting the newest PS5 and joining the server on there and playing Call of Duty and being connected. Is FaceTiming your friend rather than meeting up with them in person. We are so isolated, dude, from everyone, from real dopamine, from what life could be. And what happens in this isolation is starting social media, is the intense amount of comparison that we feel within ourselves. We are comparing our highlights. We are comparing our behind the scene, our small little bubble of reality, all the negatives, the behind the scenes, to other people's highlights, to the holidays, to the 5-star resorts, to the fake titties, the fake lighting, to the edits, to the paid models, to the celebrities. We're comparing our behind the scenes, our flaws, our negativity, our pain, our traumas to other people's highlights. What do you think that does to the brain? How do you think our organ within our skull, our brain, responds to this, what seems to be really great experiences, what seems to be a life that is absolutely amazing, what seems to be happy high notes, sunshine, unicorns and rainbows? What happens to the brain when it realizes that's not our life, that's not your life, it's not my life, that's the 1,321 people's lives that I've watched in the span of 1 week that I'm comparing myself to? What do you think that does to the brain? Because I'll be honest, I don't know either. I don't know what it does on a neurological level, on a physical level for the brain. I don't know what that does. But I can tell you the consequences of it, what I am beginning to see more and more of in other people's lives, but also my own, because my reality is a mirror of what I'm experiencing, right? And it is that we are relying more and more on technology to feel connected, not be connected, feel connected. There's a big difference there. Feel connected, that's what it is. It's not being connected. Being connected is, I will shake your hand. I will meet up with you in person. Let's catch up for a sparkling water, mate. Let's go to the gym. Go on an experience. Meet you at a cafe. Go to a co-working space. Go for a drive. Go to the beach. Right? That is a network. To sum up this isolation, it translates to a lot of different parts of our lives, right? And for men, or for myself, as a bloke, I thrive off human connection. It doesn't mean I rely on it, but I thrive off it. I'm a better person when I'm around other good people. I'm a better person when I'm in a relationship that is working for me. I am a better person when I get to connect in person with other people, experiencing life. The human experience thrives off human connection. And I don't think I'm indifferent to many of you out there. And the second thing that is a massive downfall for men's mental health, men's brain health, is a lack of men with belief within themselves, right? A lack of belief, a lack of faith, a lack of hope, a lack of optimism within themselves. And I'm not talking about the grit, the motivate, the inspire. I'm not talking about that stuff that we consume. I'm talking about internally knowing that I can do it. Believing in me. You believing in yourself. You having faith that you can complete X task, having faith within yourself that you can get your personal best, that you can hit your potential, that you can make the money, that you can get the girl, that you can do the thing. And what happens? Believing in yourself, having faith, having hope, having optimism. What happens in that is that you trust yourself. That is the tangible outcome, is that you trust yourself more and more every single time. And I'll talk more about trust in the third part. But let's focus here right now on belief, on confidence. And we have gotten told at least once in our life that you can't do it. You've been told that you don't have the balls. You've been told to man up. You've been told to be better. You've been told to suck it up, princess. You've been told to she'll be right. You've been told to eat a bag of concrete, eat a teaspoon of concrete, right? You've been told all of this stuff. I think it's got legs, right? It's necessary for our growth. But you know what it actually does without being aware of? So, yes, you might feel hurt by your dad or your grandfather when you were 6.5 years old and you've got a vivid memory of him telling you to man up and eat a teaspoon of concrete because you were crying about the toy that you couldn't buy at the shop. It's not about the situation. It's not about your dad. It's not about your grandfather. They just knew what they knew. Don't blame them. Okay? And it also, it's not your fault back when you were 6.5, 7 years old, because you also only knew what you knew, and you reacted in a way that was what it is. So this unintentional lack of responsibility, i.e. the ability to respond, when there's a lack of that, it's very difficult to believe in yourself. It's very difficult to genuinely be confident in the steps that you're taking. When you're not aware of that, you're not responding to your past negative experiences, which are not your traumas, unless you've been through some hectic pain
I'm talking about war, I'm talking about abuse, I'm talking about prison. When you've been through some traumatizing experiences that you know how to deal with nowadays, when your body will gag at the fact of believing in yourself, the consequences have turned into chronic anxiety, depression. You've got to be on meds so you don't lose your crap, right? When you've been diagnosed with stuff. All of this stuff is not because you are broken. It's not because you're a special snowflake and you're super unique either. It's actually because of what we call one thing. It's called conditioning. The reason why you are not confident in yourself, the reason why you don't believe in yourself, the reason why you're not optimistic, the reason why you are not positive, the reason why you might hate yourself, the reason why you might even hate the world, the reason why you might have a crap relationship with your dad, the reason why you can't talk to other humans, the reason why you isolate yourself from absolutely everybody in the world because you don't believe in yourself and you've got trust issues. It's because of conditioning. It's because of somebody said something to you, something you consumed, or something that you have not let go. It is all your responsibility to respond to the past negative experiences, to your traumas, to your baggage. That's the harsh truth. To your baggage. I got baggage, you got baggage, your dad has baggage, my dad has baggage, your mother has baggage, everybody's got baggage because we're human and we've got a memory bank. You're not broken, you're not wrong for it, but you need to respond to it. You need to be aware of how that affects you in this day and age. How something 10 years ago still affects you today. And that's why you are still fat. That's why you are unmotivated to go to the gym to lose the weight. Right? That's why I'm more isolated. The reason why I isolate myself from more people is because I found it easier to be independent and not deal with other people's BS and other people's baggage. It's me just being aware of that. It's that. That's it, man. The reason why I associate myself with blokes more than women is because one hurt me really badly, dude. I'm not wrong or broken or a special snowflake. It's because it is what it is. That's my baggage. I need to be aware of it, so when I get in a relationship, it doesn't get smeared all over her. I need to be aware of it because it's not her fault when I decide I need to go away for a night. It's not her fault at all. It's mine, because it's my stuff, my baggage. Okay? I'll tell you why past experiences and why conditioning has really built belief within myself and optimism and positivity and trust, and also the dark side of it. I was in a relationship for a bit over a year. It was very full on. She had her own challenges that I basically took because I loved her so fucking much, dude. That was it, alright? And with respect of her and of myself, we will go, I will set a boundary with how much I share, of course. So she had her own challenges that she was going through. A lot of hospital visits, my job, a good paying job in the mining industry. And it wasn't because of her situation that she was going through, but because I felt like I had a responsibility, a gap to fill, right? And no, I could not click my fingers and solve the problem. No, I could not be the specialist to fix her. Not at all, mate. Not at all. That's why we got specialists. That's why we got surgeons. That's why we got doctors. Why I felt like I had a responsibility was because of how my dad has consistently shown up since my parents got divorced. No matter what has happened, he always shows up, right? The same with my mum. She loves hard as well, right? She just shows up. No matter the time, the place, just if I pick up the phone, she is going to answer. So my two parents have a huge ability to respond. It's in their DNA, mate. And that has, in my DNA, genetics, conditioning, that is why I decided to fill the gap, to take responsibility. It's an honorable thing. It's beautiful, mate. To build a relationship with anybody, when we do it in tough times, we take them for granted a lot less. We appreciate them more. Whether it's seen or unseen, I believe that's what it feels on the inside. Genuinely feels on the inside. I can love hard. That's honestly it. Because when I realize, holy shit balls, I can love hard, dude, it is epic, mate. I get to bring that in all areas of life, not just relationship, mate. Into business, into gym, into myself, into other relationship in the future, mate. It's a fucking epic. So realizing all of that, having the awareness of what happened, understanding, wow, you fucked up, dude. You did some things and burnt your energy, burnt you to the ground, and you also did some things that were a bit questionable, man. And you know what? It's okay. It's what it is. It's happened. Yes, you hurt some people, but good. It's good. That's life, mate. You get hurt. You hurt people. Is it your intention? No. Is it their intention? No. It is what it is, right? We're all human, mate. Being aware of the little puzzle pieces, not all of them. Looking at myself, being aware of what was going on, what happened, how I was feeling, what I was going to do about it, and discovering a new perspective helped me believe in myself so much more because of that awareness piece. And prioritizing my own happiness after a challenging experience, that was needed for a period of time, 100%. And yeah, it's definitely hurt, definitely been a fuel, definitely created a lot of belief, a lot of optimism, a lot of trust with myself, which is number one, because I am my most valuable asset. Just like you are your most valuable asset, we've got ourselves for life. Which brings me on to number 3. I think one of the big reasons why we've got a mental health crisis nowadays is because people are not doing things that are hard. Oh, I get a bit anxious. I get a bit depressed. Oh, I get a bit suicidal. I'm not talking about that. I know that's hard because I've been there. I know fucking how hard it can be. I know that it gets to a point where it feels like the world is crumbling around us. I get it. 100%. 120%, dude. But I'm not talking about that hard stuff. Your feelings are validated. 100%, man. Because I get it. 100%. But in this part 3, I'm not talking about those hard things. I'm talking about we don't go through enough hard things that are chosen, that are decided. I'm going to do a hard thing. How many people do you know go out and decide, you know what? It's a Sunday. It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining. And I'm just going to do something really hard, something really difficult, something that I really hate. Not many people that you know personally. Yeah, David Goggins and all, maybe because they do hard things, right? But it's not about running a 100-mile race through Death Valley. It's not about that at all. What it actually is about is choosing something difficult to go through. Your level of challenge, your level of hard. And what I mean by that is you might find it really difficult to go to the gym. I'm scared. I'm scared of the gym. I don't want to go to the gym. Maybe they go to the gym and they're a bit on the bigger side, very self-conscious about themselves. They don't want to be judged, because what happens if they're trying to pull up and then their shirt gets untucked and then their belly comes out and then everyone judges them, everyone looks at them, everyone hates on them. And what's the point of even going to the gym if that's going to be the outcome? Why would I do that to myself if everybody's going to judge me? That's scary. I don't want to do that. I don't want to show up to the gym. Everybody's got their own challenge that they are overcoming, that they have overcome. And yeah, I hear you if you don't want to show up to the gym. Yeah, I hear you if you are scared to walk down the street. I hear you if you're scared to ask the girl out, if you're scared to start the business, if you are struggling to hit your PB in the gym. I hear you if you don't want to take your shirt off in public. I hear you, dude. I see you as well, man, because I get it. I've been there in my own way. And I think we all have. I believe we're all aware of the problems that we have within our lives that need some sort of change. And if you're not, just think about it. Give yourself 5 minutes of a drive in the car with no music, no notifications on your phone, no nothing. Just be with the road, with the car, with the world. Awareness is easy. It can't be taught though. I can't teach you how to be more aware. I can share you my perspective and show you my life and my view and my reality and my perspective of the world. You're welcome to have a look through my lens. That's what we're doing right now. You're aware of your challenges. We all are. We all have a gut instinct on what doesn't work, actually. If we truly just think about it for a moment, I believe we all have a gut instinct that something ain't right. When we are aware, as you are right now, the one thing that you need to do is actually take action. Because in this day and age, and part of why we don't do hard things, and of course then part of why people are challenged with their mental health, it's why people are necking themselves all of the time, why people are losing the plot, why we have abusive relationships, why we have problems in the world that are first world problems, which I'm talking about stresses about money, being I can't buy the new iPhone, I can't buy my organic, vegan, gluten-free food. I'll get more controversial if we swing that way as well, mate. Why we are having this crisis with mental health, I believe a lot of it is because we're not doing these hard things because it's scary, because of the belief that we've got within ourselves and the stories we tell ourselves, and sitting in isolation because of the beliefs we've got, which then causes us to overthink, which then causes us to not try hard things because we're scared, because of the beliefs, and we will isolate. Proper spiral into the ether, into your mind, into the demons, dude. And what happens when we're going through all of this stuff and we're sitting in our cesspit of internal feces, dude, in your mind, in these demons? Of course you're gonna hate yourself. Of course you're gonna hate your life. Of course you're gonna be angry. Of course you're gonna be sad. Of course you're gonna be depressed. Of course you're gonna get to a point, just like I did, where you don't want to be around anymore because it gets too much. So it's not all about taking a certain type of medication. They don't weak to speak. Go to the mountains, that's going to solve and heal all your problems. It ain't all about hitting the gym. It ain't all about finding the love of your life to help you along your way. It's actually all about all of that. It's not all about, it's about being the best you for yourself, for others. Here we go. A way to do that is get out of your head by doing hard things and fucking believe in yourself. That's it, dude. Get out of your head. Stop being in isolation. Get off your screen for a day, for an hour, for 10 minutes, whatever your thing is, mate, to stop the pattern. To just put a pause on the spiral. You don't have to go and fix everything just yet, dude. You don't have to go save the day. You don't have to try and figure it all out. You don't need to be diagnosed. You don't need to solve it all right now. No. The step one, the start, is to just stop. Stop the spiral. Put a plug in it, mate. Put a pause button on it. Do something that you're a bit scared of. If you're scared of going to the gym, just show up. Don't even touch the weights, mates. Just show up. Walk in there with your gym clothes on, fill up your water bottle, throw in some pre-workout, if that's your thing, or just have a black coffee, and just sit there and just look around. That's all you need to do. If you're scared of going to a new country, you don't have to do that. Go book an Airbnb for the night. Go away from your environment and see how it feels to just chill. to just be with yourself, to do what you would do in the new country. Call your mate who's got a manual car and say, hey, can we go out an hour out west and we can have a bit of fun, learn manual. We're not going to endanger ourselves or others. And we're going to make some progress because it's scary. Burn out. You will create a version of you that is not you anymore. You will lose yourself in this development. You will become a subordinate to your mentor, to your coach, to the influencer. And you will forget why you ever started. And you will get to a point where you wake up and realize, wow, dude, I think I took it too far. And you may get to a point where you're going to start again. And I've been there. I believed one way was the way due to the confidence I had in somebody else and the belief I had in somebody else and the trust I had in somebody else. And that was its own spiral, which came with its own overwhelm, overworking, 100-hour plus weeks, which was very different to being challenged with anxiety, depression, self-harm, and suicidal behaviors. Very different. And because I had these tools, I knew that I shouldn't be in isolation because that's dangerous. I knew I needed to do something hard, to show up to the gym, 20 minutes, lift some heavy stuff, talk to the friend, pick up the phone, whatever my thing is on that day from that experience. I then believe in myself just a little bit more. When I believe in myself, I have created what we would call a pattern interrupt. I've interrupted the pattern of downhill spiral. And that right there is your first step to create momentum, which then creates progress, which then continues to create the belief, which then creates a version of success constantly. And there's a journey with that, with the pattern interrupts, with the highs and the lows and the feelings and the logic, right? It's all a journey. And that right there is what I would call the permanent solution for the challenges that we are facing in this day and age with men's mental health. The permanent solution is not starting a movement, not finding the best way, not doing said task, but creating a mindset shift by having more and more of us internally, individually, doing these three things. Get out of isolation, do a hard thing, believe in yourself. One person does it, their hard thing could be call 5 people that they haven't spoken to in a while because they've been in isolation a lot. That's 5 people impacted. Just the energetics that will come from a conversation with your friend, with what's going on in their life, that right there will unintentionally start a ripple effect, whether the parties know or not. Subconsciously, there's going to be an energetic transaction, an energetic exchange that's going to unintentionally create some sort of positive impact that has the potential to help other people do the same thing. It has the potential to impact so many people. And with all of what I've shared over this hour, and really, I truly appreciate you jumping on here and being present with this. It really means a lot, right? I want to sum it up with, it's simple. These 3 things are very simple. What I would call the permanent cure to my challenge as a male going through mental health. Brain health challenges, but let's sum it up here. It's not easy, dude. Whatever you're going through, it's not easy, mate. Whether it is stress from work, it is stress with your family, relationship challenges, constant feeling of anxiety, whether it is I'm never good enough for anything, I can't get out of bed, whether it is I'm struggling to hold my job, I'm struggling to save money, whether it is I don't know who I'm going to be in the next 5 years, why should I keep on living? Whatever your thing is, mate, it's okay to not be okay. But what is not okay, and I will tell you this straight, after what I've experienced, what I've been through, it's not fucking okay to sit there in the corner rocking and expecting somebody else is going to come and save you. So what all you need to do is start the simple route. Get out of isolation. Do something a little bit challenging. And believe in yourself like your life fucking depends on it. And put a smile on your face. Get amongst it, mate. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of fucking my life, my perspectives, my craziness. And I hope you learned something. I would really appreciate if you drop in the comments something you learned, a perspective that you've got, maybe something that really just doesn't land for you. If something doesn't, if you're just like, well, what are you even talking about? Ask for clarity, judge me, share your opinion. This is what it's all about, man. This is how we develop as humans, starting these conversations, creating these perspectives, and keeps life more fun, more interesting. Rock on, baby. I'll see you on the next one.